or not. But, obviously being behind him, I was working pretty hard to try to keep up and just be close if an opportunity arose. And, luckily it worked out.
All right, we're going to go ahead and open up to questions and start with Jonathan.
Okay. Chase, Allen was in here and said he thought you guys had a good shot at Martinsville, thought you had a good shot at Phoenix. Texas was iffy. You've had a chance to think about the round of 8 since the win at Dover. Do you think you have to win? He seems to think you guys have to win to advance to that Final Four.
Well, I think that needs to be the mindset for sure. I mean, I think every week has to be pressure-packed. You have to keep the pressure on yourselves because, if you were to make it to Homestead, you have to pretty much win Homestead, So I think you have to have that mentality every week. The points game is nice, I guess, to play, but really you just need to care about winning. And if you're trying to win and putting yourself in position to win, that's way more important than just barely trying to squeak through. So having the ability to win and do it weekly and putting yourselves in those positions week by week is the most important thing. And if we can, do that these next 3 weeks, I think we can give ourselves a chance. Texas, since they paved it, I would say has been the worst one of the 3. Martinsville has been hit or miss, terrible. My first couple trips, had a couple good runs there last year, was back pretty bad there again this spring, so it's been really hit or miss. Phoenix had a good run there in the spring. Texas has been really bad since they paved it. So, just because you've had recent good runs at those other places doesn't mean you're going to be good when you go back this time. But I think that, I agree with him. I think Texas has been the worst one of the 3 as of, late.
All right, we're going to go to Jerry and then Nick and then Bob.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net, Performance Racing Network. We all know the story of Hendrick and where they were and where they've come to now. Obviously, with you getting your first win, it's been kind of like you've been on fire since then. And then with 2 wins in this round, moving on to the Elite 8, did you think that this would be how your season played out when it all, either in the beginning or obviously, but throughout the middle season or after your first win? Did you think this would be happening?
Well, I felt like as a team we were capable of winning and doing it often. I felt like I believed in my ability to do so, and I believed in my team's ability, Allen's ability, and our pit crew and the road crew and the whole deal. I mean, that's never really been a question mark in my mind. We started the year and we were pretty bad. I felt like pretty off on speed and struggling with handling and trying to get our cars better, and I think we've got them better. I don't think we're where we want to be or where we need to be, but I think we're better, and I think that the performance on track has just put us in positions to capitalize, and that's been the difference. And we've been just been in position more often, and if you can keep putting yourself in position, I think those are great places to be. Does that mean you're never going to make a mistake again? No, but I think that you can go and run well and run like we've been running. I think we can have a shot legitimately. Yeah. I mean, it is, but just because you ran good this week doesn't mean next week's going to go good. But yeah, momentum's nice. I'd rather have it than not have it, but still at a pretty big points deficit behind the 18, the 4, and some of those other guys. So, if we just keep running with them every week, I think we'll, like I said, I think we can give ourselves a chance. That's all you can ask for. So, we're going to keep the hammer down and try to keep as much pressure on as we can, and just see where it plays out.
I'm going to go to Nick.
Nick Bromberg, Yahoo Sports. How much of a win, or how much of a confidence boost is this win, knowing that it potentially, and also, is it potentially the biggest win so far of the season for your championship hopes, knowing you have Texas and Homestead coming up, and you can beat guys straight up at mile-and-a-half tracks now?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wish we could have raced Kevin for it, straight up there at the end, and him not have his misfortune. That was, to me, that was, a nice goal to have. Obviously, I think he's been the class of the mile-and-a-halves throughout the year, but just to run with him, be able to pace him lap time wise and be within 10 car lengths of him trying to get by him, I thought was very encouraging. So I'm encouraged by that. Kansas is very different from Homestead, so very different racetrack. Texas is also very different. So I look forward to the next round. Definitely a big win. They're all big. I mean, the road to Watkins Glen was so hard, and then the past couple months being like they've been, it's kind of surreal, but you just have to appreciate them. I mean, you don't know when or if you're ever going to win another race. So I'm going to be as excited today as I've been. I'm going to enjoy it as much as I enjoy Watkins Glen or Dover. The only difference is we go to Martinsville in 4 days, and it's game on again.
Bob
Pockrass, ESPN. Beyond the wins, how much more of a championship contender do you feel you are now compared to August 1?
Well, I mean, like I said, from a mental standpoint or a team standpoint, I don't think we're any different. We haven't done anything different approach-wise since I've been at Hendrick, or Alan and I have been working together. The difference has been going through some tougher days, having some learning experiences and making our cars faster, and having those learning experiences along with making our cars better, to me, has net better results. So I think we have just as good a shot as anybody, and that's our approach these next 3 weeks.
We'll go over here to Jonathan.
Jonathan Field, theraceexperts.com. Having come so close so many times in 2016, 17, and now having won 3 races, what did you take today, or what did you apply to today that you've learned from those near misses and also the 2 wins this year?
Yeah. Well, I mean, those pressure-packed situations, the only time you can learn from them is to be in them more often. And I think that's as simple as that. Just putting yourself in position more is going to keep the pressure on more. And the more you're comfortable with that, the better off you're going to be for it. So, those guys that you have to beat are in those situations about every week, and they don't mess up. So you better be in them and not mess up is kind of the goal. So we'll see where we end up.
We'll go back over here to Nick.
When Kyle and Kyle were in here earlier, they said how tough it was to pass out there. If Kyle Busch got closer to your bumper, do you think you could have held him off, knowing that he would have had to go so far low to get past you?
Yeah, I mean, there was some time being right up against the wall, and they were obviously catching me doing it, and Kevin and I had a lot of success the run prior running the lane that I was running. And obviously there's a big penalty with hitting the wall too. And I had run up there some throughout the day, hadn't done it a lot, but I felt like Kevin and I were making pretty good time doing the lane that I was running. So I was pretty committed to it, and they were making some pretty good time on me. I was fixing to move up, and the 11 hit the wall right in front of me, and I thought that was the sign to not do it. So I stayed where I was and kind of stuck to my guns, found a little something those last 2 or 3 laps that I thought was a little more consistent. And I know the 42 was pestering Kyle, but I thought I found a little bit of pace there. I don't think it was as much pace as that was on the wall, but I think it was better than I was bleeding out, the handful of laps before that.
Go over here to Ryan.
Ryan Black with the Manhattan Mercury. Chase, when Alan was in here earlier, he mentioned he didn't remember exactly how you guys got the test here last month, but that obviously it worked out today. I was just wondering, how much from that test did you actually apply today? How much did it matter versus had the conditions changed enough you kind of had to throw a lot of that out the window?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think generally, the trends of the racetrack and things it was helpful to be here a few weeks ago. I think there were a couple decisions that factored into our setup today that we probably wouldn't have done if we hadn't tested here a few weeks ago. So ultimately, I think it was a good thing. Anytime you have a chance to come run in a place like this and a challenging track that the lane moves around, that's a great place to come test. The places where it's one groove and you're on the same place all the time is kind of a waste of a test, in my opinion. But coming here, we moved the groove from the bottom of the racetrack to the wall in the matter of 2 days. So I thought it was very valuable, and they're not all tests are like that.
We'll go right here in the center.
Dylan Sherwood and Puerto says that. Chase, how much has Jeff Gordon told you about this track with him being a multi-winner here?
Yeah, we've talked about every track, I think, a lot. And Jeff's been a great mentor of mine, and he's been a great friend, has become a great friend the past couple of years, and proud to still have him coming to the races and the support that he gives me. So, we've talked about it a lot. I feel like he believes in me, and all you can ask for from a leadership role or somebody, one of your superiors is confidence in you and belief in you, and just try to let me go do my job.
All right, do we have any questions in the press box? Right.
Yeah, Brian Eberly, Motorsports Tribune. Chase, you finally got that breakthrough win at Watkins Glen, obviously on a tear since then with the 3 wins. Do you feel that was more of just a monkey off your back sort of deal, kind of getting that pressure off with that first win, or is there anything specific you can kind of point to that's increased the Nines team's performance over this past
Yeah, I mean, certainly nice to have got a win. Obviously, Watkins Glen very different from Dover and here, but I definitely think there's been some mental confidence that grew from Watkins Glen. Certainly didn't hurt, but I think just on-track performance and just making our cars better and things has probably been the biggest thing to help us run better and put ourselves in these positions. So, we still need to go, in my opinion, and go and dominate a race or dominate some races. We were Felt like a contender today, which is what you want to be, but you want to go and dominate these things, and that's certainly, I think, within reach. And that's the goal, is to go and try to get out front, not let up.
Dustin?
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. I've got a couple questions, Chase. You talk about wanting to dominate, or just talking about even putting yourselves into position. You did that again today, but this was another race this season where somebody who led the most laps didn't win the race. It's something like 2 of the last 20-some races, the guy who led the most laps actually won. Why are we seeing that disparity where you talk about domination but not seeing that with leading the most laps winning the race?
Well, it's a hard thing to do. I mean, racing for 400 or 500 miles, it's hard to do and be out front and not mess up. I mean, I think it's as simple as that. Like we made mistakes throughout the day. The only reason you weren't talking about it is because we weren't leading. So, I mean, that's the big thing. When you're out front, everybody's watching you, and when you make mistakes, they're emphasized because everybody wants to talk about it. So when you're not leading the race, mistakes happen all day long. But just trying not to make them towards the end, I think, is the big one. But these next 3 weeks, in my opinion, aren't going to make. There is no room for mistakes in these next 3 weeks. So. We just need to be on our game in all aspects, and I look forward to the challenge.
And as a sports fan, you understand the term when somebody is a playoff player, or somebody who picks up their game in the playoffs, and certainly does it. We saw that with you last year, with you guys really picked up the performance with all those runner-up finishes. Seen it again this year. What makes you that prime time playoff performer, or become that type of performer, especially these last 2 years?
I mean, I don't know. I think just cars being faster, and we kind of got lucky. I feel like with throughout the years been a learning process for all of us, and I think we've gotten better throughout the season. And I think it just so happened that as we've improved, the season goes on, right? So I think that is a piece of it. Obviously, I think my team in particular does a great job of just really paying attention to every detail that they can, especially at this time of year. And I give a lot of credit, in my opinion, for picking up performance these last few weeks to Alan, and I give him the same credit as last year when we picked up the performance. And we had a great run at it last year. I know it didn't seem like it, but we had a lot of second-place finishes, an opportunity to win a couple of those races that would have put us in a similar position to what we're in right now. So that confidence and ability to do that, in my opinion, has been there when things are going good for us and when on-track performance is there. So we just need to keep putting ourselves in the position that we were in today, run inside the top 3, try to be battling and contending for the race lead, and I think opportunities will be there to move forward.
We're going to go back up for an additional question upstairs.
Reed Spencer with the NASCAR Wire Service. Chase, did the experience of having gone through Dover last year with Kyle chasing you at the end for the win, did that help you today in terms of just putting that experience to use?
Yeah, it certainly crossed my mind for sure. I thought it was an opportunity to be in the same position again and to show that you can handle that situation. So more to myself than anybody. So I was just glad that the opportunity arose, to be honest with you. And it wasn't easy. And I think those days you learn from and you're going to get better from more so than the days that you have a 5-second lead and you're out there to go win the race. So I've really enjoyed the pressure of the Dover restarts and the closing laps today and the Martin Truex racing for the win at Watkins Glen. I mean, that's been a lot of fun, and that's what it should be. It shouldn't be easy, and it's not an easy thing. So it's way too hard to win these races to not appreciate them and enjoy those moments.
Go to Ryan.
Chase, does it feel like you win 2 out of 3 races in this round? Does it feel like to you that you guys sent a statement to the rest of the field, or is it like you kind of said when the points reset, now you're only 3 points ahead of 5th? It's almost like, well, it's kind of a statement, but it's kind of rendered irrelevant with resetting the points.
I mean, it's nice for sure. Great to have some momentum, but at the end of the day, it does reset, and you kind of have to just go back to work. And I think that you just have to have that mindset and keep the pressure on yourselves individually as a race team every week, and try to kind of keep your mindset in that must-win situation, because at some point you're going to be in it, whether you get into a bind this round or if you are able to make it to Homestead, that's pretty much a must-win as well. So I think being okay and enjoying those moments throughout the playoffs and throughout a race season is going to do nothing but help you, because at the end of the day, if you are able to make it to Miami and race for the deal, it's a must-win down there, in my opinion. So, I think every week has to feel like that, and the environment that you put yourself in amongst your race team and the environment that I put and Alan puts our race team in needs to feel that way every week.
Do we have any final questions for our race winner? We'll end up right over there.
Brad Williams, SpeedwayDigest.com. I apologize if this has already been asked, but as we move to 4 races left in the year, what are some areas you'd like to improve on between you and your crew?
Yeah. Well, I think just honestly everywhere. I mean, this is a sport, especially nowadays, where you really can't struggle in any area and expect to win. So you have to really be on your game, I think, in all aspects. So we need to take every area and amp them up a little bit, in my opinion. And I don't think it's one thing or another. I think it's everything, because everything matters.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Awesome. Thanks.